Research shows that it takes 7 times for us to hear new information before we can absorb it. So, in this video, I'll be repeating the main point several times in hope that it sinks in. I put the word secret in parentheses in the title because it's not really a secret, it's something that we might or might not be aware of, or we're only partially aware of, and we don't know the nitty gritty of it. But it is the biggest success factor with horses. Here's the biggest secret to safety with horses. Horses are mentally incapable of following anyone who they don't consider a leader. The first order of business when a new horse is introduced to a herd or they just meet any other horse is to establish who the leader is. And they do that by energy. They read energy and confidence, and also who's going to yield whose feet. So respect is the first order of business, and trust is next, and they're kind of intertwined. If they don't respect somebody, they won't trust that person or horse. But respect with horses is not given, it's earned. So how do you earn a horse's respect? First, with your energy and confidence, because they do read that. And then with who yields to who. So when a person goes into a stall and they're not paying attention, and the horse thinks that they moved them, then you're horse number 2. So now they're going to call the shots, and they would see if they can dominate you. So when horses come and kind of nibble on you or kick at you or anything like that, that's not bad behavior. That's just horse behavior, and they're not at fault. They're just following their instinctual psyche and behavior, and they're trying to either be the leader or let you be the leader. And if you're unaware of little cues and the way that the horses express themselves, then in the person's mind, well, all of a sudden this horse did this. Well, it wasn't all of a sudden. You just didn't read the cues, and you didn't know how to talk back in a productive way. Horses need the leadership in order to feel safe. And again, they don't think the way that we do. If they're not sure that you can lead them and that they're safe with you, then they would do the next best thing and think to themselves, we're a herd of 2. Let's say it's a horse and a person, right? We're a herd of 2. That person is not fit to be a leader, and therefore, to keep us both safe, I will become the leader, and that person needs to yield to me or else, because it's an absolute thing. It's not, with horses in the herd, it's kind of like the army. There is a hierarchy, and it is to be followed or challenged. And this is where our human thinking, if not applied correctly, doesn't work with horses. So again, what is the biggest secret of safety with horses is becoming their leader. Now, the biggest secret has many little detailed secrets within, and we got to break it down or else we won't be effective. And I can't cover it all in one video, but here are just a few major things. So confidence level within ourselves is what horses look for in a leader. Next thing is owning space. And how do you own space? By yielding. And how do you get a horse to yield? Is by clear communication, which includes intention, body language, energy, timing, like the pressure and release whole idea. And then another thing is like how attentive we are to the environment and to the herd dynamics. Those minuscule details, a horse would totally know if you're cheating. You gotta be on. You gotta know what is going on in the environment, kind of predict what is the next thing that can happen. You have to be observant of the relationships within the herd, and who's telling who what, and who might want to challenge the leadership and so forth. And then, the timing. Horses, their body language and timing is just incredible. They're the best dancers in the world. They will move with you energy wise, speed wise, emotional, all that. And the timing in which they react, whether to pressure or release, is just impeccable. And that's what they need from us in order to be clear. And then provision. Safety first. What a horse looks for is safety first, comfort second. So safety in turn breeds trust. And then the lead mare actually provides for the physical needs. She knows which field to go to, where's the water, when do we go to it, how fast do we run, if we think a predator is there, and so forth. And then, of course, closeness and touch and emotional wellness. So horses that are separated go absolutely nuts, and that's a whole other video that we need to discuss that. But I'm not gonna. I can go on the rabbit trail there, so I'm gonna just stick with touch, physical touch, and closeness. Whether they have head to tail kind of position and they swoosh their flies, or whether they're wither to wither and kind of scratch each other on the withers, or just one horse is standing up guard and the other one is laying down. All that is, and it goes both ways. Like a horse can be in an upright position, keeping watch, while the other one is laying down nearby. Or the opposite way, even with the leader, like they appoint other horses to be responsible for safety while they take a rest. And this is partially how I am able to go under the horse and so forth and feel safe, because I know that they would take care of me, because they have given me all the signs of, yes, I'll take care of you, I will keep you safe. So obviously they're not going to stomp on me. So these are some things to keep in mind. It makes me sad that so many people get hurt by horses, and so many horses get hurt by people and sent to the meat truck. Because even experienced horse people somehow were not aware or taught, or only partially taught, what the biggest success tip be to be safe with horses. Somehow we're misunderstanding each other, horses and us. So the biggest secret I have found, and secret is in parentheses because it's not a secret, it shouldn't be a secret, it's just somehow we don't get it. And it's leadership. But somehow in our mind, leadership is one thing and to the horse is a different thing. We often think of horses as if they would think of us, like, or we think that they think the way we think, and that's just not true. Horses think differently. We think with premeditated thoughts, so we have words to express our emotion or our intention. We think thoughts. But horses, they don't think thoughts necessarily premeditatively the way that we do, in such depth that we do. Horses have They have pictures, they have sounds, they have smell, taste, feeling, energy. They have images in their head that they associate with certain feelings. They have smells and sounds that they associate with certain feelings and outcomes. So, when we say, well, that horse was a jerk, he purposely kicked at me or stomped at me, that might be true, but not in the way that we think. Horses have kind of this kind of thought. They would go for the safest way and the easiest way. So if a horse is afraid of the lead mare coming towards them, and you're the only way and you're the easiest way, they would rather run you over than get in trouble with her. If there's a fire and they don't see you as the leader, but you're the safest way, they would run you over because going through you, they thought was the safest way to go away from the fire. Now, if they respect you as the leader, they would probably not go through you. So the whole idea of what I'm saying is horses would choose the safest way first, and then the easiest way second. So just from those two things alone, when you apply those principles to your horsemanship and to your training, you would make a world of difference. So then the second thing would be, as far as your training goes, how do horses learn? Well, horses learn from the release of pressure, not the pressure itself. The pressure is a question mark, and the release is bingo, you got it right. So then they would look, because that would be the easiest way if we set it up right. They would look to answer correctly every time so that you release the pressure. If to that you add something positive, like a treat or a scratch, then it's kind of like for you when you love your job and you see meaning in your job, but you get a paycheck at the end. Oh man, that sweetens the deal, doesn't it? So you would look to perform better at work because not only you're satisfied with the outcome of your job, which to horse would be a release of pressure, but you get a paycheck and the horse would be like, oh my goodness, there's a treat. And now it's fun because this turns into a game where they gain something really pleasurable. So that's how I use treats. Now, another component is how do horses learn best? Under what conditions? They learn best when they listen to a leader, which should be you. And they also learn best when they're in a relaxed state of mind. So if you're introducing something new to a horse, that's already a stress factor, could be. Then how you teach that best, or the correct response, is to have the horse in a relaxed state of mind so they're accepting a new stimulus. But then also, you can't always, there's a lot of things you can teach at home, and you can create the kind of situation where it's, it's comfortable for them. They're in their own environment, they're secure, and their mind is relaxed and ready to learn something new. But it's not always the case. So when you're out on the trail and something unexpected happens, the best thing to do is to teach a safe response to that. And, when you're unsure, horse, you communicate with me to show me that you're unsure in this way. And if I give you this cue, then you do this response to me. And that just makes it a lot safer. But the biggest bottom line is horses would follow the lead horse through anything, even if it's dangerous. They would follow that horse through fire, through raging waters, through anything really, if the lead horse says this is the way to go. And so what do you need to become to be the safest with your horse is a leader. And that's where we can talk about, well, how do you become a leader? We have this kind of, people, it depends what your horse experiences and who you learn from and whatnot. But, you have your experienced horse people that they've been told, well, you got to show them who's boss. And they try to pick a fight with the horse and win the fight. And then they end up getting hurt. The horse ends up getting hurt too, possibly. And then it's really the horse's fault. And the horse gets blamed. It's not the horse's fault. We had no communication and no skill other than what we think we have. And it just gets people into trouble. And then, of course, our ego and our lack of knowledge says that the horse was at fault. Oh, this horse is so stubborn. He's dangerous. He wants to kill. And then you have people with absolutely amazing intentions. Like, I would never hurt a horse. I would just, I love horses and I want to just get them so comfortable. And you should never tap a horse with your lead rope or anything. And then the horse attacks them and they have no idea why that just happened. So you have all these scenarios, and what we have failed to understand is how to be a leader to that horse and how to communicate and how to set boundaries correctly where the horse would feel safe. Which brings me to the biggest secret that it shouldn't be a secret, is that horses are innately incapable of listening to you if they don't see you as the lead horse. They just, to them, it's a life and death decision. They cannot follow you because you have good intentions, humanly speaking. They cannot follow you because you're the next cowboy that's gonna show them who's boss in a way that you pick a fight with them. They're just incapable of doing that. And they're flight or fight animals. So if they can't flee, they would fight. And then the horse gets hurt, the person gets hurt, but the person doesn't go to the meat truck, the horse does. Why? Because we just didn't know any better. And the bossy cowboy didn't mean it. They're there because they also love horses. But at the end of the day, who wants a horse who's dangerous, disrespectful, and could kill somebody? And again, we have people from both sides on the spectrum being unsuccessful with their horses and getting hurt. So the question begs is, how do we become the leader to the horse so that the horse can willingly submit to us? Again, first is energy. They read your confidence level. They even could be in tune with your heartbeat and breathing, body temperature, and so forth. The next thing is self-awareness. horses need us to be aware of the environment, but also be aware of what our own body is doing. And that's really hard because sometimes we would do an action or hold the position and we totally didn't mean to do that, and we have no awareness of what just happened until somebody else points it out. And the horses see all this, even if we don't, and then they go, well, hold on. If you're not aware of what your hand was doing just now, how are you ever going to be aware enough to save me from the werewolf or that plastic bag that's coming our way? And so they lose confidence, they become nervous, we grab on more, we become more nervous, and it's just like a vicious cycle. But if your confidence level is great, then the next thing is owning space, yielding. And I'm so for cuddling and being together and connecting, but that comes after you own space. So if you have an imaginary space bubble and you're moving with it, the horse who accepts you as a leader would yield to your space bubble. And once that's established, then you can go to cuddles and trust and all that, once respect is there. The other thing would be matching your movement, moving with you, and if your feet move forward, stopping and respecting that same amount of distance of your space bubble, and then moving with you. And if you speed up, that horse should speed up, and if you stop, that horse should stop. And I like to establish that at liberty, because there's no strings attached then, and the horse is really choosing you. If you have a lead rope, it's kind of a cheat. So that's why everything with us starts at liberty. Any horse can have a positive change and behavior and amazing performance under the right guidance. And it is my passion to learn from horses, about horses, and share that with people, because it is also my passion to see people succeed with horses and horses succeed. So I'm looking forward to sharing all that I have learned with anyone who's open-minded and is looking for a better way with their horse. And sometimes it makes me wonder, why am I so passionate about horses? What is there any deeper meaning to this whole thing? And then I remember that Jesus is coming back on a horse. And I think that when God created the horse, he really created a special animal for us people, because there's no other animal that quite challenges us in the way that a horse would. They're such honest mirror of who we really are, and they only cooperate with our best selves. And that's why it is also so satisfying when we finally get that connection and oneness with our horses, because we have become a better self.